And now, folks, let's jump into the 97th Academy Awards highlights. So, well, you already told me that you saw the highlights this morning, time of us recording this.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it. I had the file. I just don't watch through it and then skim through most of the thing. But I watched the whole thing.
All right, well, good thing that you mentioned Filer. I will bring this up because I have a major complete to make about, my my viewing of it, right?
Right.
Because yeah, I watched it last night, time I
But
was recording
I
this, right?
hear local things stop showing it or some bullshit.
You see, now you spoil it now, right? So, gosh, that
Okay,
was a
okay, is that okay?
surprise. But all right,
Okay, that's
I'll
surprise.
touch.
Right? And then and TV6s do that bullshit all the time.
Here's the thing, right? So, okay, since you jumped the gun, that's okay. That's okay. Okay, didn't know. All right. So I will speak as somebody who actually watched this live, right?
Okay,
I watched it on ABC. Because TV6 wasn't running it. It's like, believe it or not, right? They was running The Informant Us.
okay.
As in the movie The Informant. When the last time you ever hear about The Informant, bro?
Yeah, that I vaguely remember that.
I think that's with either Ben Affleck or Matt Damon. I think it's no Ben Affleck was the accountant, but I think the informant
Right,
is with
right.
Matt Damon or something like that, right?
One
Yeah,
of them. Yeah.
yeah. TV6 does this thing now where they would just run some arbitrary movie from like the 2000s or whatnot and expect people
Yeah,
to
yeah.
stop what they're doing to watch that, while there's the March Gras that is going on that was being aired on TTT, right?
Right.
So yeah, I was one of the few Trinidadians who actually watched that over the March Gras, right? And this, as far as the March Gras goes, to be honest, though, no disrespect to the other contestants or whatnot, right? But the one performance I wanted to see was Marsha Montano, right? Because I thought that he killed it with his performance last year and he won for that, right? And I was telling myself it would be funny if he won this year for the March Gras because the night before he won the Soca Monarch. So it would
Oh,
have been
oh,
like
you win.
everybody coming and saying, "Oh, you see, Soca Mafia. Ah, you see.
Right.
But that's another story for another day, right? But long story short, I missed that performance because because okay, so the awards itself, right, took place on 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? That's in the States. But we, in Trinidad, we got it at 8 p.m., right? So I would say like probably around the first hour, that's probably when that Marshall performance took place. Because when I, checked TTT, yeah, it wasn't showing again, right? But anyway, right? So about the Oscars, right? I watched this good, right? And I'm telling myself, right, this is going to be a 3 hour affair, right? Now, funny thing is, if you download the file, and I'm not recommending that people do, right? But given the issue I'm gonna bring up in a bit, I won't blame you if you do, right? If you download the file, it is 3 hours, right? But on TV, this thing ran for about, I would say, 3 hours and 45 minutes with
You're right.
with ads,
It's
right?
that's yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Now that's fine, that's fine, cause that's understandable, yeah, that's how ABC had to make how they had to make the money, right? That's cool, right? But swear to God, at half 11, TT time, this will be 10:30 Eastern, right? I the feed cuts off, right? And boy, is when it happened, that gave me real pissed off, right? This happens right after the best actor and best director winners. As they went for a break and they say coming up next, best actress and best picture. I see this thing pop up that says, and I'm reading this out now because I took a snapshot of it. And yes, this is part of the thumbnail of the video version of this here right here that you're listening to. Just letting you know, the right to the program has been purchased by another provider and as such cannot be broadcast on this channel. We apologize for the inconvenience. So me at half 11 TT time was like, what the fuck I see in here, Hus? Kind of
What?
shit is this, Hus?
Who was showing it for? So who was showing it locally?
No, well, alright. Well, here's the thing, At first, I thought this was Digicel's problem. I thought this was something that they did because we currently, we use Digicel, right? For both Wi-Fi and cable, right? So I thought that was a Digicel issue, right? And then I went up online because shipping me trying to find some kind of live stream on YouTube with somebody
Right.
like watching the thing and reacting, right? So obviously I wouldn't see the show, but I'd hear who win what, right? And yes, surprise, surprise, yes, I call the winner, but I'll get to that later on, right? So I did all frustrated because I missed the moment, because you know me, FOMO, right? I want to see that shit live. I want to be part of that experience, right? So that I just out of the blue, I just like did a little Google search and see, look to see, broadcast cut off now, right? And so, and believe it or not, I ran into this Reddit thread, right? And apparently this was actually going on in certain areas in the States, right? Or say North
Okay.
America.
Right.
Because it's both, and forgive me, folks, I just sort of skimmed through the details, right? I should have read more of it, before, I jumped into it, before I started this episode here, right? So apparently because ABC and Hulu were working together with this broadcast, right?
Oh, okay.
Because I was seeing
Okay.
a bunch of Hulu ads, right? For Handmaid's Tale, which is a show that I have long distance myself from years ago, but that's another
Yeah,
story for another day.
I think the final season coming up.
Yeah, the final
This was
season.
a
So
run.
they was hyping that up, right? And
Yeah.
the bear coming out, which is cool.
Right. Yeah.
But like when we gain Shogun, okay, we're not getting it this
Yeah.
year. All right, okay, cool. Just I was wondering. Okay, fine. All right, we are waiting next year. Okay, no problem. Whatever. Moving on, right?
Right.
But yeah, I just saw some Hulu stuff. I was like, okay, well, that's okay. That's fine, because I was seeing that. I think for when there was the halftime show, right? But
Right. Right.
no, I'm seeing through this Reddit thread now that apparently it had to do with the Hulu, with Hulu running it as well, right? Because it's supposed
Right.
to be like this simultaneous broadcast, right? But I don't know what went down. Maybe one station didn't have the rights or something. So work with me here. This shit sound weird, but this is my assumption right now, right? So what I was seeing on TV was a Hulu stream, but
Right.
it's still on ABC, right? And because they catch what going on now, they just sort of cut it, right? But again, I don't know these things, right? But here where I don't understand, right? So it's almost as if it was designed for the show itself. Like the people behind the scenes were on the impression, or ABC was on the impression that this thing was going to run for 3.5 hours. And once they hit
Right.
that three
Yeah.
and a half hour mark, that's
Right.
when everything
That's right.
stopped, and then they could run something else. I feel that is
Right.
what happened. But I mean, dog,
Okay.
is the last 10 minutes straight, or technically the last 5 minutes and some ads. You tell me you can just wait for the whole show to end? It's just 10 more minutes total, It just stops.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell, right?
Yeah. That.
So unfortunately, yeah, I had to do some shiver me timbers in, right? I had to shiver me timbers. I finally I found one very easy. That was real shocking compared to the other years where I had to like really dig up and find, a link, right? A torrent, if you will. Yeah, I found one, and I watched the last 5 minutes and I was like, yeah, all right. I wish I saw it live, but okay, cool, right? But we'll get to that in a bit, right? But yeah, that is the shit that went down when I watched it, right? So lucky for you, you didn't have to go through that, right? Now, I am assuming now, lastly, on this point, that this probably happened. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if it happened with other viewers down here in Trinidad, right? So, because I saw people on my Facebook feed, talk about who won what and whatnot, right? So I don't know if I still don't know if it's a Digicel thing. I don't know if people who
No, I think
use
it's
Flow
I think it's
had
no, I think it's
I don't know.
no, no, I think it's like an international problem. Like I think, yes, as you said. So it had nothing to do with local editing. Um,
Okay.
yeah.
But it's
I
weird though,
think it's just
because
a
I still feel like, because of my provider, maybe that's why that happened with me,
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's how the same feed as others people, and you get you, because if I understand it's a glitch or something like that. I just now googling it just to check and just to see if I understand it's just a kind of some kind of international glitch, general problem. So
Yeah,
yeah,
but I think if I'm not mistaken, this is like the first time that
it's happened,
the
yeah.
Oscars is being broadcasted like this, right? So it's kind of
Right,
like how like what Netflix and Peacock do,
right,
with the that WWE Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, right? They run it
right.
simultaneously, right? So it's like ABC and Hulu try to do the same thing, but ABC say here's what, 11:30 or 10:30 Eastern time. We cut off at this
Yeah,
point, right? But you tell me they could
yeah,
not just let it run by, like, come on, man.
yeah.
That real
I think that
sloppy.
what yeah, it's sloppy. But what I gather is really Hulu is the Hulu is the cause of it, like the main cause. It was a bunch of Hulu itself had a bunch of glitches. and that was like everything was. I think everything was going through Hulu now. So once that happened, because yeah, everybody saying yeah, seeing the Hollywood Reporter and things saying cut off that switcher stuff cut off. Like so, it was
Yeah.
that. So however, I mean,
Yeah,
they fuck
but
it up.
is the timing of it all that was just weird, right? So to
Yeah.
jump into the ceremony itself, right? I'm not gonna talk every single detail about what went on in the ceremony, right? But it's really the winners I want to highlight, right? Um, the blame I have to give to this boy, unfortunately, but I hurt me to do this, is the host boy, Conan
Okay,
O'Brien.
you don't like him? Okay.
No, no, no. Here's the thing. I thought for his first time doing this, cause fun fact, this is the first time he's hosting the Oscars, right?
Yeah.
I
I know you
thought,
was the Emmys before.
yeah,
He
I
was the
thought,
Emmys long time.
yeah, I thought he did a phenomenal job. I thought that
Right.
he did his thing. He delivered the jokes. A few of them fell flat. A few of them fell flat. That's to be expected.
Right.
But a majority of the jokes land. They really did. They add humor and spice to the whole thing, right? And it was fun, right? And you could tell it was kind of purposeful too. And he brought this up early on, right? Where it's just basically about, at the end of the day, despite what went down with the forest fires, right? In LA, we're still gonna do this. The Academy is still gonna host this thing. We're not gonna let these things bring us down. It's a celebration. So you could tell that he did that to kind of raise people's spirits, right? Because I know there was a lot of people who was like, should we still do this because of yeah.
Yeah, I don't think those fires was so destructive to throw off anything. Thing is like by then they already pay or getting money back. Like I mean, I know some people unfortunately, can't make back the money, but most people did from what I gather.
Right,
Or at
right,
least
right.
insurance or whatever it is, right?
Right, and there was a great opening. There's the two opening sequences. Well, opening
Right,
sequence and
yeah.
opening musical performance is
The
great, right?
opening bit, that opening bit with thing.
Yeah, the opening sequence just basically be the celebration of LA. So there's a bunch of
Right.
scenes, involving LA. So you saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. You saw La La Land a couple of times. You saw a few. I was shocked. I saw Straight Outta Comptoners, like the
Yeah.
establishment shot with Dr. Dre in his room, listening
Right.
to Roy
Yeah.
Ayers. Like what? Like we go in there?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, Academy, bro, do your thing, editors, do your thing. That was cool, right? And that was cool. I really dug that opening sequence, right? And then afterwards, you got a great, like, fantastic musical performance from Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande.
Right.
That was great, right?
Right. Yeah.
Ariana did, the Somewhere Over the Rainbow song from Wizard of Oz, and then I forgot. I actually do not know the song that Cynthia sang afterwards. No, I'm not too familiar with that song. I really should look it up, right? Shame on me, right? But then they closed off with Defying Gravity by,
Right.
and yeah. And the moment where Cynthia, well, did the high notes near the end. I remember the
Great, yeah.
moment, and my eye watered a little bit. I was like, yeah. It hit me, right? I mean, Cynthia, boy, wow, she could sing, boy, right? But I made a joke like, this is for the Wicked fans, because I know I wouldn't be surprised if there's Wicked fans who probably still toting over the fact that Defy Gravity or Popular wasn't nominated. But as I said before,
Right.
they're not original songs because they were made back in the 90s, right? But whatever. But yeah, that performance is great. You could tell it's for the Wicked fans, man. And yeah, it was a fantastic performance. I loved it, right? But yeah, right after that, no, is just 15 straight minutes of Conan just telling jokes and
Right.
padding out the show, padding it out. It was cool that Adam Sandler make a little appearance, but I didn't need
Yeah,
that.
I saw that bit. Yeah, I saw that.
I didn't need that. That just fell flat for me, because Adam just doing I'm the obnoxious, that's what he doing. That's his
Yeah,
shtick. Like, no, stop it, please. This is not MTV Movie Awards. Stop it, please, right? This is bit with Jeff Bezos being brought into the ceremony in an Amazon box. So like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this, right? This is joke with mug shots, and you're seeing Timothy Chalamet, a picture of him in the womb, and this, it's that joke. I just say like, why are we doing this, right? And then he had the goal to do a music performance scene, basically, just paraphrase it here, right? He's not gonna waste your time. That's his shtick. That's his joke. The performance him basically saying, we're gonna keep things in a certain fashion. We're not gonna ramble on, like, we're not gonna stretch things out like what happened, 3 years ago, which involved Will Smith and his slap and all that. We're not gonna do that, right? But it was 15 minutes of this shit. It's 15 minutes of this shit.
Yeah.
Like, they could have just cut that whole music performance out entirely, right? I'm not saying that the entire sequence was cringe, but I was watching it's like, why, why,
Right.
why? Stop it now,
I did. I just
Yeah.
saw the bit to do with the substance. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, that was the
Normal.
opening bit.
It's
That's
yeah,
cool.
fine.
I
Yeah,
guess.
okay.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, again, 15 minutes of this, 15 minutes of this thread. So yeah, I kind of not surprised in retrospect that, ABC just sort of figure, oh, everything gonna finish at 11:30, and it should have. But thanks to them 15 minutes, I would say if he had just shaved like 5 or 10 minutes of that, yeah,
Right.
we would have had that issue that I was bitching
Again,
about earlier on.
yeah, but again, I just think it's like they just didn't take something like that into account because they will just go over time. Like I suspect, some AI shenanigans went on and they called the time off now. So
Uh-huh.
usually it's like, oh, the show's still going on, just keep going on, and then no, that's not what happened. The machine just turn it off now. That kind of thing now. Unless because had nobody they making an actual judgment now. That's what I suspect happened. So
Right. Okay. I guess. Well, hopefully some article could come out about that, right? Because yeah, I can't be the only one who saw that and was like cussing up a storm, right? But whatever. But that's before we get to the winners, right? So just quick mention of the performances. Like I thought, like the performances were decent for what they were, right? I do like the whole James Bond tribute one. Seeing that Amazon MGM Studios now own rights on.
yeah. We don't talk about that here because James Bond switching off I forget the name of the family. They just kind of taking a back seat in terms of control.
Well, is Barbara Broccoli? I think it is, and
The
I forgot
Broccoli
the other
family.
person.
Thank you. Right.
Yeah.
I try to remember. He has a brother and sister, but they kind of taking a back seat in terms of the creative process because they have way too much creative control now, and it's like it's two fucking old people who still think it's 1982 whatever it is now.
Yeah,
As far as the
who's
concerned.
still like holding on to Ian Fleming's legacy for dear life,
Yes.
you know?
And that whole aesthetic that it's like, all right, if you're gonna do Bond and you're not gonna and you want to do it in the modern age, then you can't do it like that. And they just didn't get that. Like a whole bunch of movies. So just be clear about that. However, you can see what happened with the Bond franchise. It's quite in a weird space right now.
It is, yeah.
Go
But
ahead,
but the performances was fine. It was just like a tribute, to the songs and whatnot. So yeah, like I see, like I watch the face and I know the smile by now. Yeah, Margaret Qualley from Substance was involved in a little dance number. She looked fine as hell. I was like, okay, cool. Doja Cat, who I saw on the red carpet. Yeah, she performed Diamonds Are Forever, and that James Bond sequence ended with a rendition of Skyfall. If you remember that's the Oscar-winning song from Adele, still one of the best Bond songs ever, in my opinion. And it closed things off really good, right? But to me, the big highlight was Doja Cat singing "Diamonds Are Forever," because I mean, Homegirl could sing, right? People like to talk shit about she, but yeah.
If she brain kind of get cooked. I mean, speaking of cook, it would be, if your brain wasn't cooked, you could have cop and do a performance for him, what you call Kanye, right? But
yeah, he could have come in and do, the hook, at least for Diamonds from Sierra Leone, right? And while I was listening to the songs, like, boy, Kanye put me onto that song, Before I even saw the movie, boy, Kanye put us on.
No, I saw the movie before, but I saw the movie before that. But but I remember when that song come out, I was like, this is real hard. It's a great sample.
It is,
But
right.
Anyway, but your brain cooked, so moving on.
Yeah, moving on, right? So another great musical performance was with there was a Quincy Jones tribute. So they had Queen Latifah of all people, right? Come down.
Right.
She sung Ease on Down the Road, which if you remember is one of the big songs. It still slaps to this day. From The Wiz, right? And she did a great job though, what I mean? Really incorporating her jazz background into just doing this great number, right?
Yeah. She was in remember. Yeah, she was in Chicago and thing. Yeah,
yes, that's true, right? Mm-hmm. Duh, I forgot, right? And it was cool. It was really, really cool with Whoopi Goldberg and Oprah Winfrey introducing, doing the introduction. If you remember, they worked on The Color Purple, which was scored by Quincy Jones, right? A great score from him, great performances by them, especially Oprah. Yeah, there's a moment in that film that brought the man tears out of me. So Oprah make me cry in that film, but it was cool seeing that, right? I know there were a couple other bits as well, other like, there was like great little introductory moments. Like I thought like Ben Stiller's moment for best production design was really legit hilarious.
I mean, and
That was clever. That was really clever.
and he did, well, yeah, and he, speaking of he, them cooking right now with Severance season 2, yeah, so
Severance,
yeah,
yes,
Severance
which
season 2,
I
yeah, so it's
will
like,
be
yeah,
watching this month because I know season 2 is
definitely,
wrapping up this month. So I'll be watching
yeah,
that. I'll be watching that, right? But yeah, that was hilarious how they use the podium, so to speak, to do that. That was really cool. I really dug that, right?
yeah,
And of course, is just the faces that show up to present. So like I don't think, well, at least they were alluding to it, right? A duo that you haven't seen in a long while. Yeah, Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal coming in to do
right,
the
right.
final, presentation, right? That was really cool, right? Also mad points for Game Boy Nick off from 100, to do
Okay,
the narration in background. That was him, right? And they had a nice little bit where Conan was talking and you hear Nick kind of talking over him. It's like, dude, like just stick to the script there. I saw Nick in the background like reading the script. That was really cool. That was really cool, right? I like that they brought him on board, right? But yeah, on to the awards themselves, right? So just run it through in terms of not in order, right? But that's the list that I have in front of me, right? So I am not familiar with the animated short film In the Shadow of the Cypress, but I really
I
want to
don't see
see
that.
that.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't see that.
yeah, and it has to do with Iran as well, right? It was made in Iran, sorry. So I really do want to see that, right? The live action short film, well, winner. I'm not a robot. Not familiar with that neither. But
Right.
I made a joke with this one and the best documentary short film winner, the only girl in the orchestra. Yeah, they have the coolest names. Like outer that list, outer boat category. Sorry, yeah, they have the coolest names, right? They have titles that stand out, right? I'm not a robot, the only girl in the orchestra. Yeah, you know what I mean? But I do hope to see them, right? And I say hope because I don't know, like outside of the Oscars, is there like any way you could see them after the fact? 'Cause I don't think they will
I
put
don't
them up
know.
on YouTube. So where
Right.
can you see them?
I mean, I suppose. I mean, I don't know because, but I do think. Speaking of that, I do think the Oscars should try to push that stuff in a public sense after it come out, however it is, and you make the money according. But that's how it is. So you'll see how it'll evolve.
Yeah, agreed, man. It should be up on their site or something. Like if they don't want it
Something, yeah.
if they don't want it to monetize on YouTube, at least they could
And,
just
and
put it up on their page,
I
right?
think,
Or their
yeah,
or their site.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. And I always felt that the Oscars should have like a proper official site that they pay into, like a service, like something like a Criterion Collection, but for the films. I don't know. Whoever own the
Yeah,
money.
yeah.
We're living in corporate hellscape nowadays. So
Yeah. But yeah, the first award actually was for best supported actor, right? So just to get
right.
to the actors or whatnot, right? And yes, surprise, surprise, Kieran Culkin, straight out of Succession won. I thought,
Well, yeah, I wasn't super surprised at this
all right,
because he had a good push. I think I called this.
yeah, but
You
but
have a
question, right?
big momentum here.
Yeah, question. By now, have you seen a real pain?
No, I don't see that.
Watch it, bro. Like, dog, even
Okay,
even Kieran shout out Jesse Dredd Eisenberg because I thought that script was great, right? It was very tight,
right.
as I said in my review, right? Yeah, and I actually like his speech. I like what how he called out the wife and talk about, you promised me a fourth kid if I want an Oscar, so boom, here you go, right? That was,
Right,
that was, that
right,
was
right.
actually that was really really funny. I really really dug that, right? Best supported actress. This really surprised me, right? Because I didn't really have anybody in mind with that, right? Yeah, as I said on Facebook, Gamora won an Oscar.
Yeah, I
Yes,
wasn't.
Zoe Saldana took it for the
Yeah,
team. Yeah,
this was not the biggest surprise. Because she was the only person who stayed relatively clean after all the bullshit that movie take. The
yeah, boy, yeah.
main actress is bullshit. The movie itself is kind of bullshit. The director take hell, but
And,
she's
and,
the
and
only one
look,
staying clean. Like,
Zoe so dread, right? After she accepted speech and she was crying, rightfully so. She thanking she mom, well, she parents. I didn't even know that she was the daughter of immigrants as well too. I didn't know that at all,
no,
but
yeah,
now
she
I
from
know.
Dominica. Well, it's a whole drama with her because she got into a lot of trouble a few years back with Nina Simone.
Oh right, yes. I
They have a
remember,
whole,
right.
remember there's a whole thing about Dominican and being black, and there's a whole thing about race to them. So for her to go and try to play Dino Simone, a lot of people thought she's just like ridiculous. And
Right.
well, the movie's kind of trash, so that
Yeah,
wasn't
well,
helpful.
about that film, right? So after the fact, right? I think it's probably after the show. Yeah, I saw this on Complex. She basically say how if the show offended Mexicans, I'm sorry. We did. The
Yeah.
show wasn't meant to offend Mexicans. It was just
But
about
I think here's the thing. So
you know. I don't know.
So I finally watched the movie.
Okay, yes, that was
Eventually,
about to
and
ask you, right? So what do you
yeah,
think?
to me, as I said, if I'll admit, it have that crash problem, right? Where if you're familiar with the material, or you're familiar with what we're trying to say or do, then it's a problem. But if you just look at it as just trying to do its own thing, and not try to be accurate or anything like that, it's fine. It's actually
But
well
that's
done,
how I
well
saw
made.
it. I
Exactly.
wasn't looking for
Um, what else?
authenticity. I just saw it
Yeah,
as just
what I would
really
say,
over the
what
top,
I would say is
like
that
musical drama kind of thing, you know?
I think, yeah, what I think the mistake was that it didn't need to be a Mexican movie. Like it could have easily been a Spanish movie. Like why it had
Agreed.
to be Mexican? That kind
Yeah.
of stuff. Like if it was just, why couldn't be in France or thing? Like what is the point of it being Mexican? No? I
Yeah,
can follow that. Like that logic.
cause they went to Europe to do the whole,
Exactly. The whole thing
the
wasn't
whole
even in
operation thing.
Mexico at all.
Yeah.
So why not
But you
reference
want to bring the
Mexico?
whole cartel thing, which ultimately didn't
Right.
really add up to
But
much
it don't
except
have,
for the end of the
the thing
film.
is, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, it have crime lords in Spain or whatever it is. Why the Mexican cartel? Like it tries to cater to the Mexican, this of the whole thing of
Yeah.
the Central American aspect, and like why you could have easily done that same thing in Spain or France or wherever it is. Why does your car have that? And I why it get weird now. Like so for a lot of people, I think it was that bad of a movie. But I'll admit it does have that crash problem, and a lot of people thought this would have been another crash now because there's another movie very similar to very similar relationship. But we'll get to that later. Which I was shocked at, but I know given the pattern, only one other movie this happened to, and it never happened again. We'll get into that. So go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm real glad for Zoe though. I'm real glad for
Right.
Zoe. I
Yeah.
felt it for her, when she was teared up or what that. I know she really, really, really worked for that. Work
Yeah,
to
I
reach that
know.
point.
Yeah, she was the only wasn't. She was literally the only person who was not in trouble with all of this. So I think I was that surprised you get, and she's a big enough star. So like, all right, yeah, okay,
That's true. That's true, right? So yeah, another MCU performer, won an actor.
yeah, yeah,
Won an Oscar. Sorry, last year was
right,
Iron Man slash
right,
Doctor Doom question mark. But yeah, this
right,
case now is Gamora, so that's cool, right? And yeah, on the subject of Zoe again, El Mal, not surprised, won Best Original Song, right? I mean, it is the song, it is the performance that you do remember from it, even though it was all done in Spanish. I don't know a lick of the lyrics, but yeah, I
right,
mean, performance wise and just the style of it, I really, really dug. Yeah, and especially how it worked thematically with the film, I think it really works, right? Um,
right,
Best original score went to The Brutalists.
right.
And having seen the film finally and hearing the score, I was like, yeah. Especially with them with just the organs. Sorry, not the organs, with the horns, boy. It's very, very epic, right? Well, sorry. It's very grand. That's what it is, right? And I like that the composer himself, Daniel Bloomberg, is just this weird artsy looking guy. Like this when you see him on stage and how he looking down and like looking down the shoes and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, I thought that he did a great score, for that film, right? Nonetheless, right? Another big deal, boy. Best animated film went to Flow, right? And
Right.
even when they were announcing the nominees, I was like, Flow gonna win, Flow gonna win, And yeah, surprise,
Right.
surprise, Flow won. But to me, I know you agree with this, Ricardo. This is a big deal, Trey, because now, yeah, I mean, indie animation studios could make films of that kind of caliber. And in this case, it's from Latvia, right? And is using a game engine, is using Blender. Like what? Like
Yeah.
that's a big deal, Dred. So yeah,
Mhm.
all your indie animators, Dred, look to those guys, Dred, as inspiration, right? And yeah, slight spoiler. Yeah, there's some inspirational moments in this year's Oscars for sure, man. But yeah, any thoughts on Flow winning Best Animated Feature?
Yeah, this was a little bit of a surprise. I mean, I thought it was one of the better animations for the last year, even though I didn't like it as much as say what was the other thing that came out?
Oh, Wild Robot, bro. Yeah.
Wild Robot. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I really thought either Wild Robot or even Inside Out 2 would have win, but this one is a good deal and a big call. I enjoy this. Can't be mad at that.
Yeah, can't be mad, right? Best makeup and hairstyling, no surprise because I called it Substance. Yes,
Right.
yes, well deserved. Again, harkening back to 80s body horror, it works, right? I did not expect the show to win anything else outside of makeup and
Right.
hairstyling, though. To
In
be
my opinion,
honest,
yeah.
but just the mere fact that it earned all those
Well,
nominations, though, I think is
I had,
really admirable.
yeah, I already thought, I thought, well, we will get to that later, but I thought, but who win, I can't be mad at, but I already thought Demi would have probably get through it, best lead, but yeah,
Right. Best costume design and production design. No surprise. Wicked. I call that. As far as
Right.
costume design, though, I did not know that the guy who accepted, Paul Tazwell, is the first black costume designer to win in
Okay.
that
Okay.
category.
I
He
was thought
says
it
that.
was
He says it in his
okay.
speech. Like,
Oh really?
whoa,
I
that's
thought
a
it was
big deal, though. And I
yeah.
see,
I
and
thought the Black Panther didn't get something. What Black Panther get?
no, that's oh gosh, I forget the name. Root something. I forget the name right
Yeah,
now.
Ruth Negga, but what I was that was set design.
No, that was costume design. But that was a black
Right.
woman. That was a black woman. Yeah.
Oh, the first black man. Okay, okay.
Yeah, first black man. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay,
Which
okay.
is a
No
big
problem.
deal, right? And mad
Okay, okay.
points, right? I love how the camera show this, right? You see Cynthia, you see Ariana, and you see Coleman Domingo rocking that red
Right.
outfit, but red suit,
Right,
dude.
right.
Yeah, all three of them get up and giving stand ovation to that man. The moment he says he's the first black man to win in that category. I was like,
Right,
yes. And I don't mind Coleman didn't win anything. I mean, just look at the man kit, look at the man outfit, the man
Right.
dressed to impress, right? I would say that much, right? But yeah, that win for both costume and production design, rightfully deserved. I call that, right? I would say the one disappointment I had though was best international feature. The Secret Fig did not win, but I'm Still
Right.
Here, which is a Brazilian film,
Right.
which is nominated for Best Picture, won. Now,
Right.
in retrospect, I wish I saw the film, but I think we have to wait like about a week at the time of us recording this for it to
Okay.
come out online, Jed. Because yeah, out of all the nominees, that has been the one film that I know it had the theatrical route in the States or something like that, right? Or in North America. But yeah, that was the one film in that category that we did not see because it was not released. And even
Right.
on the trailers, we did joke about that. Like, yeah, we know what the show is about to do, but yeah, we haven't seen it. So the joke they make is that they took the Joaquin Phoenix documentary where he was trying to be a rapper. I think it had the same title, so they used that as cutaways there for that segment. I thought that was real genius.
Movies, huh?
I think it's either a film. I think it's some documentary or something like that. It was involving Joaquin rapping or some kind of thing. It was some weird thing some moment in his career where he thought he could rap and it was weird. It was weird, right? But I remember that being a big deal in a weird way back in the days, right? But yeah, point is, I'm glad that it won, right? Because I know it wasn't gonna win Best Picture, but it would have made sense it being an international film that it would have won in that category, right? And for the Emilia Perez haters, at least all they could say, well, at least Emilia Perez didn't win in that. Haha. Okay, yeah, that also got nominated in that same category, right? But yeah, note to self, I will check it out and hopefully I will, review it here on this show because I heard some great things about it, right? I mean, it was also nominated for Best Actress as well, right? So I want to see, why it earned that, right? Also, it was the international stuff. I called it Best Documentary Feature. No Other Land. I called it. Yes.
Yeah.
Great film. I love that the two leads, who are two of the four filmmakers behind the show, they were the ones who were speaking, right? So they were talking about, the whole, just what's going on with the whole Israel-Palestine war and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, well, people notice, that kind of thing when people notice a lot of people was really clapping all that much.
I was hearing like cheers in the background, but not a lot of clapping.
The audience.
Yeah, in the audience, right?
Give it the audience.
Yeah.
All right. So.
I'd also found this out after the fact, like actually, this morning actually, apparently Gal Gadot was supposed to present in that category. But because she's Palestinian, she was like, nah. So she teamed up with Rachel Zegler, because not only are they started together in Snow White, but they were also in Shazam too. Remember, they were in the same film.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's only when I saw them on stage, I was like, right, they were in Shazam too.
Right. I'm Shazam too. Right. She was the youngest of the sisters, I forget.
Yeah. And Gal makes she Wonder Woman appearance a couple times.
Right,
and that was it.
Yeah. Right.
It's like, oh right, I forget about that. Right. Yeah.
I forget about that. Shazam 2 was hot trash. However, moving on.
yeah. But they came in to present for best visual effects, right? And yeah, speaking of best visual effects, no surprise, Dude Part 2, call that shit one time. It's like, duh. Right. Of course, right? And then, of course, for Best Sound, Dude Part 2, of course, duh, right? And,
not surprised, yeah.
And yes, the first film won, 6 awards or whatnot. But It won two. This one, well, part two won two, and it's for the right categories, right? Sound and visuals, right? Because yes, sound and visuals were great in that film, right? So I cannot be mad at that at all, right? Best cinematography. I was rooting for Dude Part 2, but then I saw The Brutalist. I was like,
Right?
have a chance to win it, and well, surprise, surprise, that won as
Yeah.
well, right? Yeah, I be rightfully deserved, right? Because yeah, I mean, for its 9 million budget, that was a
Right.
gorgeous looking movie, like gorgeous. Even though I watched it in my house, yeah, it looked gorgeous. So really, really great looking film, I must say, right? All right, best edited, I called it Sean Baker, Anora. When I reviewed
Right.
it, I said I love the editing in it. I love how the rapid fire style of it was. I love the editing in that film.
I think a big part of why he do so well is because it was all him, right? He really was really feel like an author now.
Yes.
'Cause
I'll
he
touch on
just
that
really
with.
really do so much there.
Sorry, just repeat that.
No, I say you really do almost everything now with the film now. So it's like that now. And I've been a fan of him since Tangerine, so it's like yeah, it's surprised.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Well, actually, I'll save that for the end, right? Me and his filmography, right? And
Right,
how ashamed I am that I've only seen two of his films, right, at this moment, right? But yeah, moving on, right? So let's see, right? So best adapted screenplay, went to Conclave. I called it, called it.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's surprised. Yeah.
As the only one I got, and I don't mind. I actually don't mind. I'm actually
Oh
glad
yeah.
that
I
it
was about
won
that.
something. Yeah, I know you love the film. I know you love the film, right? Just on a slight little tangent here, right? So because YMS always does this, right? Adam always does this. Yeah, he put out his breakdown of how he felt about all those best picture nominees, right? He actually put out the video yesterday at the time I was recording this, right? And yeah, he did not care at all for Conclave. He didn't care.
Okay.
He thought it
right.
was like a boring slog of a film, right?
Okay.
Which is weird, because I thought he would have said the same thing about A Complete Unknown, which I actually watched yesterday morning time I was recording this, right? And here's the thing, just quick review, right? It was alright. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it.
Yeah, I was just underwhelmed by it.
I did feel the Oscar beatiness of it.
Yeah.
But I feel, for me, what was underwhelming about it is that it just really felt like cliff notes, as far as, like, just if you just never heard of Bob Dylan or like the music he put, this is show for you, right? But I came out of it. Sorry.
I thought it was pretty underwhelming.
Okay.
I said that in my review. I was like, it didn't do anything special. I was like, I mean, I get why this might do something. And I really thought, cynical me thought that this would do better, to be honest. But like, at least the bullshit and get through now. The old liberal bullshit.
Yeah.
So it's that. Same thing with the media Perez. At least people are self-aware to be
and
fall for the crap.
Yeah, and I don't know if you felt the same way, right? I mean, shout out to Timothy, right? You could tell that the man, the man do his thing. The man sung the songs.
Exactly.
He sung it. The man do it. He did his thing. Mad. Edward Norton can't be mad. I forgot the girl who played Joan Baez. I can't be mad. I can't be mad at Elle Fanning. Can't be mad at them, right? But I just came out of that film not really knowing who he was internally, right? It's just the figure, the myth of Bob Dylan. That's what I got. I got the myth of him, why he is this American darling, but they just presented him as this golden boy who was so ahead of the curve. So like, man, I'm trying to incorporate blues and rock, but all the gatekeepers, all your folk music gatekeepers don't understand me, man. And I was getting that, but I didn't get a sense of the internal struggles this man was feeling, was going through. It just felt like he just knew everything, and he just did what he wanted to, and that was it. The end.
Yeah, this was pretty underwhelming. It was about as bad as the Bob Marley movie for me. Like,
I actually prefer this over. I compared to One Love, I got I got slightly more of a sense of who Bob Dylan was over Bob Marley in One Love, to be honest. So yeah, I actually think A Complete Unknown is better, not just written but made too and acted too than One Love. But that's really not saying much, right? But it's not a terrible film. It's just one that should have done more in terms of the subject matter, right? But moving on. So yeah, so back to Sean Baker now. Surprise, surprise, one best original screenplay. Call that as well. So yeah, the man is 2 for 2 for now, right? So now we get to the big ones, right? So this is where we get to best actor, best actress, best director, and best film, right? So for best actor, right? Because this came in first, right? No, sorry, best actor was first, right? Yeah. Adrian Brody for
Right. Not a surprise.
yeah,
Yeah, no surprise.
Brutalist.
No
No
surprise there.
surprise at all.
So you
Yes.
see, he had the legacy actor. He did.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's always he always taking play dues to get through, and then he already win before. So like it's not a surprise. No surprise. I thought he's pretty good in this.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, haven't seen the Brutalist. Yeah, I thought that his performance was great, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
his acceptance speech was long winded, understand, but
yeah.
in his defense, the man was emotional. The man was
Right. I think it's some crappy
genuinely
scenes. I was
emotional because no, he
I
just
agree.
started
It
like
could chill
sort
out.
of trailing off, but
Yeah,
and then like even the Academy was like, look, wrap it up, like, Hoss,
yeah,
we
yeah.
give
And
you
then
four
I think
minutes,
I
we
know
give you 4 minutes to talk, wrap it up there. And then he say,
yeah.
look, this cut the music, please stop it. I'll wrap up. I've done this before. I've done this before.
I
This
see
is number
some.
first radio.
I see something with Halle Berry kiss him, man. It's a whole dumb thing. But remember years ago they do that. That was stripness.
Yeah, but because that was like I think is at the red carpet, I couldn't care
Yeah,
less. So like
I could give a shit.
I think that popped up like because I was on Facebook
And
just looking up
it's only
highlights
because
there, and that popped up.
it's only because of the feed. Yeah, it's only because of the feed need to tell you crap. There. That's why all this junk that need to flush in the face
Yeah.
that they don't care about.
Now, if it is they had done it on stage, right? Like when
Right,
Halle Berry came to introduce the whole James Bond segment, and Adrian
right,
Brody happened to be there, and then they kissed. Then okay, all right,
right.
cool, no problem. But that happened behind the scenes. Nobody cares, right? But yeah,
It's, it's,
despite the long
it's
windedness.
pop culture nostalgia crap. Nobody cares. Move
Yeah,
it.
nobody cares. I don't remember when it happened, to be honest, right?
Yeah,
I
it
don't
was a while
remember
back.
when it happened. Think about that. I don't even remember
Yeah,
when it happened.
I think it's either the year she win or after or something like that. Which is I think it's when she win. That was a hot minute ago.
Oh, okay, wow. Like I forgot that shit, right? But yeah, despite how long-winded it was, though, it was emotional. I really, really felt it, right? And I like how in the end, he's it's preachy, but it was yeah, we need to stop with the hate and the racism and all that kind of stuff. Peace and love, man. And even like when he was trying to think of something else, the wrap it up music came on. It's like okay,
Right.
I'm gonna go now. Have a good night and all that kind of stuff, right? When it came to best director, though, mad points for having my boy and role model Quentin Tarantino pop up
Yeah.
to do the best director thing. Because yes, surprise,
Right.
surprise, I called it. Sean Baker won, right? I love
Right. Yeah.
that shot. Well, two
That's a,
things. I mean, Sean Baker, dog. Like I don't know the man. Like I don't know him personally or whatnot. But like after this night, boy, I am beyond inspired by him, right? So in
oh yeah,
addition
yeah. He's one of these guys. He's
Mm,
one of these guys kind of like oh gosh, what's his name, boy? The fellow do, but he shoots stuff on iPhones and things. Like if you look up Tangerine,
Steven Soderbergh, yeah.
oh, but right. But he's a guy. He's one of those film guys. Like so he shoots stuff on iPhone and he make it work and so on. So and again, Tangerine is pretty good thing. But I Florida Project. That's the one that really like sell me a team.
Yeah, and that was the
Yeah,
film
I
that
really,
that's one of two films I saw from him, right? Well, I reviewed
yeah,
that back when it came out in 2017, right? So
yeah,
it's that and of course Honora, right? Which you'll get to, right? But yeah, I love that Sean call out he say, to Quentin, if it wasn't for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I wouldn't
yeah.
have even known who Mikey Madison was, right? Because yeah,
Right,
she was great in that film. Don't mind it was a bit role, but she was great
right,
in that film,
right,
right? If you remember the moment,
right. Yeah,
she's the one who get the flame torch in the end
yeah,
in the pool. That was she.
Shows your Manson family. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And again, as I said, when I covered Honora, she could scream, boy. My God, though. Even in that film, she was like belted it out, right? But yeah, I love the shout out there. That was cool, right? Because when he touched on, the idea of encouraging ourselves and our children to watch films in the theaters. Yes, that was great, right? I also should
right.
mention too, Conan did a nice little joke about that, like oh gosh, like it's almost like it played out like a sort of like a SNL kind of sketch, like almost like
Yeah,
an EMC theater kind of joke.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
That was cool, right?
Conan just straight up out of pocket and he that shot at Drake is like, oh lord,
Yeah, boy,
Conan,
yeah, I
wait,
forgot to mention that. Yeah, with the
yeah,
whole pedophile joke and
yeah,
I'm
like
lawyered
lord,
up too. When I hear that, I was
yeah,
like, wow, boy, he
you
lawyered
know,
up too, boy.
Roger this, yeah,
Yeah, and everybody
Roger
clap
this,
at that. I should
yeah,
think
like rough,
I should think the people who got the joke clapped at that, right? That was really cool. I didn't think he was gonna go there. He took a cheap shot. He took a cheap shot, but he took the opportunity, right? Yeah. So I just love going back to Shaw though. I just love how Shaw was just basically saying we need to get back to theaters, right? I love how he points
Right,
out
right,
how, a lot of cinemas closed, in the States because of COVID, right? And
right.
because of, the nature of things now with Netflix and whatnot,
Listen,
right?
it have a simple answer to this, drive-ins. It's like that's the
Yeah,
answer.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's the
But
simplest answer to this because you don't need. And to be fair, like I look, I understand the convenience of home and thing and the idea of theaters, the nature of theaters, like why are theaters necessary, or if they aren't, that kind of thing, right? And look, I get to see, I privilege because I have a theater within walking distance, blah blah blah. But like, I I get why the model might have to like line up a little different. 'Cause I really don't know what the future of this is gonna look like. To be honest, like it is very precarious. So, but I want to see where it's gonna go, right? To be fair.
yeah, me too, me too. But I
Mhm.
love, love, love the fact that he said, I love how he touched on distributors because, yeah, I mean, if you've been
Right.
noticing, yeah, like a month from now, movies that have theatrical releases will be out of digital.
Yeah,
Yeah,
less than a month, right? Exactly. But some
yeah.
movie come out real fast, right? Wait this way.
Not
Oh
Love
gosh.
Hurts.
No, no, no. Something. Oh god. No, this thing. We call him. Craven. No.
Oh
That
yeah,
came out
yeah, yeah.
so fast. That came out real fast. Like, oh, that out already. Like, what's the point
Yeah,
here?
and that was a
Uh,
joke though. Like, oh, the movie
yeah,
that everybody was going to shit up on anyway. Yeah, it look
yeah.
like about boom. There it is. Laugh at
But
it now.
my attitude is that one, you have to have a kind of quality control at this point because, like, look, stop chasing the trends. Only who could do it, and them big studios and them really need to like rehold themselves if they're serious. Because all of this is clearly a bunch of like shitty like execs and CEOs just trying to save their ass now. And yeah, sorry to say it's that age thing. Some of them think I completely rehold themselves. They are completely rehold. Because you see that spam nonsense, that is ridiculous. That was allowed to happen for as long as
Yeah,
it did.
it is. It
That's
is.
really ridiculous.
Speaking of spum, as before we wrap up here, right? Madam Web won the Razzie for worst picture.
Yeah, I get
Yep,
it.
yep,
I don't
yep,
give a shit about I
yep.
don't give a shit about Spam. The way you call it Razzie anyway. So whatever, moving on.
Yeah, but I
Next.
know, but the
Okay.
point is, the lead film when it comes to spum, right? Won
Yeah,
the
yeah, that's like
coveted
the
award.
worst one.
That's the point I get at.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah, now for the last two, wins that I wish I saw live, but Hulu and ABC now, so whatever, right? Yeah. So first off was best actress, called it. Maggie Madison, she won.
Right. Right.
Did not know she had a twin brother. She said that in her
Okay.
speech. And not surprised, she shouted out the sex worker community. Really appreciate that.
Right.
That was
Right.
really cool as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I mean,
again, I was called it
it
from
is
the
one of the
jumper.
most yeah, it's still one of the most like cutting edge things to do edgy wise because like Tangerine knows about sex workers.
Yeah,
Um,
and
you know.
honest and funny enough, it's true that on his trailers video that I found out that, yeah, like this man films, right, like so it's Tangerine, it's Florida Project and Red Rocket
Florida
and
Project is
Anora.
also about
Yeah, it's about
like
sex workers. I didn't even know that.
well, yeah, Florida Project is more about the children, but yeah, it has
Right.
some sex worker stuff involved. But mostly is the idea of when people living close to things that are precarious and the precarious job, which is well Disney, right? Disney, anybody living in and around that area, like just dirt poor now.
Yeah.
That's a whole thing, right? There's a weird like conceit about, hey, how come you have so many poor people living in and around something that should have more money? It's a whole the industry of that, like the same reason why so many poor white people is living in Boston, even though Boston is known for being some of the wealthiest white people because the nature of them, it's a whole thing, right? It's like I don't know why that economically does happen. Um, but yeah, it's that right, and that's why it still have a lot of precarious people for the most part, right? People who still okay, as the word slipping my mind right now, but basically people who vulnerable. It's sex workers still vulnerable. You know these types of children, poor people, poor vulnerable. Yeah, he still speak to that as a filmmaker. That's how much people just not do that yet now. And that's the interesting thing about that's what I was worried about with we call it Emilia Perez. Like Emilia Perez was the contrived kind of performative version of progressivism because it's a trans person or whatever it is. But then you have real issues with that. And he talked about trans people in this movie. That was because that's what I'm thinking was about. It was about a trans sex worker, right?
Tangerine. Yeah.
Tangerine, right? So it's all of that, right? I mean, he's like the real deal from that kind of filmmaking. He was always that. So yeah, I was always a fan of this dude since then. So yeah, it's that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just talking about that's the idea. It's just talking about a real experience. He just still nails it. And with this movie, yeah, a lot of the Eastern European stuff is a whole thing, right? There's a whole drama. So it's that.
Yeah, it is. It
Um,
is.
yeah, the old Russian thing they talk about that now. So it's like it's that. So yeah, he deserve everything, man. In my opinion.
Yeah, and as we close things off, man, yeah, rightfully deserve again, winning best film, right? Called it
Yeah,
from the jump as well, right? Well, I should
yeah,
say it was this or Brutalist, right? By the time when I said that, I didn't see
right.
the Brutalist. Haven't seen the Brutalist. I still thought it had a chance,
But
but I thought like
all of them,
Anora
all of them
just
was like
stood out so
even.
much more.
Yeah, now all of them was even for me. Like if Brutus will win, it get through. Like either Brutus or Honora was like the top two for me. But like if Brutus or Honora, but then I was rooting for substances like that. But yeah, I not surprised. It deserve it. Honora winning, but I just glad in independent films, right? That was a big takeaway. So is that
Yeah, so surprise, surprise, Anora won Best Picture, rightfully so, and this process is for a sec, right? This guy Sean Baker, right? Who started off in the indie scene, right? Fun fact, I think his debut feature is going to be released through the Criteria Collection alongside
okay?
Anora. Okay, yeah, Anora is part of the collection, and I said this on Facebook and on IG. I gotta buy that. I feel like I need that in my life, right? And I'll seek out that debut film at some point in time in my life, right? But yeah, as a whole, I really do need to follow up on this guy's work, right? Because this is mere fact that he started off like that, right? And stuck to his source material, the stuff that keeps it, that drives his work and whatnot, and made it this far, right? To be the first filmmaker to win in the best director, best film, best editing, and best original screenplay categories, right, is inspirational to me.
Yeah, it's the last time somebody do that. But as I was saying, like in the case of Honora won a bunch of awards and had to win Best Picture because the last time
Well, they won the
it's
Palm
the last.
d'Or, like which is
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
the first big deal, right? That's the
But
first
that's the
red
thing.
flag.
The last film to do as good and then didn't win Best Picture was Brokeback Mountain, which lost to Crash.
Oh,
And that's a whole thing. So
oh,
now everybody wondering if it would repeat that thing
with Emilia Perez.
Emilia
Oh,
Perez.
okay, okay.
Exactly.
Mm.
Because that's the thing, it's just be like a generational problem now. It's like, oh well, a bunch of old people think they're being liberal and progressive by catering to the trans narrative. That's something like that. Like it really felt like that. But like it's a much worse movie, and it's a whole thing. Normal Hollywood bullshit. So it's like
Yeah, it
now
is. It
everybody
is.
is
Yeah.
worried about Emilia Perez doing what he did now.
Yeah. Indeed, right? But yeah, that's inspirational to me, right? Because well, for those who don't know, I more look towards editing and screenwriting, right?
Yeah.
More than the directed part. Even though I know a lot of people want to have the name in bright lights as a director, right? But I kind of like the nuts and bolts of it, right? I like the editing, I like the writing of it, right? But again, for a filmmaker to win in those four categories is a big deal. That's inspirational to me. And I love that, at the very end of his because remember is the producers who talk, one of them being his wife, and then the last part was, independent cinema, right? I love that. I love that. So yeah, as we wrap things up, right? So I do see this win, this film winning these awards, and of course, for best actress, yeah, just being inspirational to many up and coming filmmakers, right, or those who
Right,
are involved in the indie scene, right. It's not that they have to sell out, in order to make it big or whatnot, right, but they could
right.
stick to the guns, right, stick to their beliefs and what they believe in and whatnot, right, the stories that they want to tell to the world, right, to quote to paraphrase what his wife said, right, what Sean's wife said, right, and yeah, just put it out there, right, because that was the thing that really stood out to me about Anor, right, how raw and how, yeah, just unapologetically real it was, right, it didn't sugarcoat itself. It wasn't trying to please, the older heads, as they say, the liberals or
Yeah,
whatnot. It was just telling its own story the way it wanted to, but made it, yeah, did it in such a way that you ultimately sympathize, with a
yeah,
sex worker. You did that. You did that through, Mikey Madison's, fantastic performance and great character and whatnot, right? And yeah, it just took you on this really captivated ride. Yes, it hit you with a gut punch in the end, but it felt deserved and whatnot. And I said this before with our rundown of the nominees. Yeah, this is like Midnight Cowboy all over again. Just this
right.
this film that really touched on this really seedy subject matter, and yet yeah, it just won a good amount of awards, right? Including Best Picture, right? So yeah, yeah, Anora deserved it. At the end of the day, I felt like Anora deserved it, right? But that's not to say that the other nominees for Best Picture, especially Nickel Boys, right? Because
Right.
Nickel Boys making it thus far up to that at that stage is a big deal as well, right? Especially when it comes to new, black filmmakers in cinema and whatnot, right? I
Right.
think
Yeah.
that being their Best Picture is a big deal, right? In addition to, the substance, right? It being a horror film, it being made by, a French woman in the 50s, and touching on that subject matter about being old and whatnot. Yeah, that's a big deal as well too, right? So I think that the other nominees, even a complete unknown and Emilia Perez, yeah, I
Right.
don't think that we should just ignore these films just because Nora won, man. I think that all of them, even Emilia Perez, and I stand by that, yeah, deserve to be nominated at least in that category, right? Agree to disagree, right? But yeah, as a whole, despite me not seeing the last 5 minutes of the show, I thought that this 97th Academy Award ceremony was good. It was really solid, man. A majority of my picks, got through. It's just a couple that I didn't expect, like especially with the best international feature. I didn't see that one coming, but then again, I never saw I'm Still Here, but I do hope
Right.
to do so, this month when it comes out digitally, right? But yeah, pretty much outside of that, I pretty much call a majority of the wins, and I'm glad that they got through and whatnot. And who won, and I'm actually glad that they won, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
mad points to Sean Baker, mad points to Adrian Brody, and mad points especially to Zoe Saldana, though. Like I really feel
Right.
like, yeah, but like she like yeah. Like this was her moment to shine, Jen. She took these slings and arrows for Emilia Perez, though, but she came out of it with a golden statue, right? So I can't be mad at that, right? And and lastly, I mean, Conan did his thing in the with the host of the show and whatnot. But I just felt those opening 50 minutes with him just dropping all these jokes, I felt with this should have just cut those out, you know what I mean? Or just shorten them down because yeah, I mean it stretched the show out, unfortunately. I guess that's why it led to that shenanigans with ABC and Hulu, right? Which yeah, somebody need to like really explain to me why that happened, right? So yeah, I'm not gonna rate this ceremony because I mean it wasn't like what happened back in 2021 with Will Smith, so I ain't gonna do that. But or was it 2022? I can't remember. Either 2021 or 2022, right? I can't remember at the moment, right? But yeah, I mean this was a solid show, man. And ultimately, like I just glad that the shows and the people who I picked won, right? So I can't be mad at that. But yeah, Ricardo, just off the highlights that you saw and who won and whatnot. Yeah, any last thoughts on this year's Oscars?
Yeah, no, yeah. This here, I can't be mad at it. Yeah, this was fine. Nothing super unpredictable, but I didn't think Adora would have done as well as it did. But it did. I still actually pretty glad it did well. I had the only big thing was Demi Moore. I thought Demi Moore would have beat the girl, but I'm glad she won. So that nothing super surprising, nothing super exciting. I just sort of check with the ratings. So this Oscars, I hope the ratings go up. But Conan was great. I enjoyed for what it was, and yeah, solid Oscars. Yeah, good.
Yeah. And as before we part ways, you're right though. I really should look up at it to see what the overall rating was, right? Because I do hope that people actually tune in to see it. I know in Trinidad, like just from what I saw on Facebook, I know a lot of people watching the Mashkara, and that's fine.
Yeah,
That's fine.
exactly. That's just weird timing. Yeah, I
Yeah.
expect local to watch it like whatever.
Yeah, I mean the mere fact that it wasn't shown on TV6, I think it hasn't shown on TV6. I think since he's slapping her.
Okay.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, yes, TV6 did air that, dreaded Oscar ceremony, which had Will Smith doing the slap, I think they did. And probably after that, they just stopped airing it or something like that, right? Or it probably was around 2020 or something like that when it stopped, right? I should really, look it up, right? But yeah, I really do hope that people tune in to check it out, though, because, especially with the mere fact that they actually pulled this off despite what happened at the beginning of the year with the whole the fires in Los Angeles, right? Just
Right.
them pulling this off in the way they supposed to is a big deal, right? So I do hope that the viewership at least match the effort that they put into put this out there, man. And yeah, again, indie cinema, man, indie cinema. That's the takeaway from it. Indie cinema,
Right, yeah.
yeah, right.